Hey guys, welcome to another video. There was a Golf R parked here. Now there is not. I'm gonna make this short and sweet, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a little update on the car. Yeah, I'm not emotionally struck by this, to be honest with you. It's something that, you know, drive the car hard. I expect kind of out of the driving that I do, something would go wrong, and it's been super reliable. You know, I know it sounds crazy because the car's not here right now. I'll get into that, but so yesterday I was doing a quick service on the car. My spark plugs, I did those a little preemptively, and then of course my oil, I did that yesterday as well. Both at kind of the same time, just kind of a general service. You know, I work in my own vehicle, I service it myself, and sometimes maybe that's not the best choice. Perhaps that might be the reason for what happened yesterday. But yeah, so spark plugs went in fine. Actually, you know, I'll be honest with you, the plugs that I pulled out were in pretty good shape. They really weren't that toasted. And I'll let you guys know what plugs. I'll link the plugs that I used down in the description below, just so you guys can reference them. If you plan on, you know, doing, I guess, a similar setup, I recommend those plugs. So I did those spark plugs. Everything went in, you know, or went out and went in easily. And then I did the oil change. And I usually jack the one side up just so I can get at the drain, let the thing drain, and then of course lower it so all of the oil drains. And I usually let it drain for about, I would say 30 minutes or so. I don't have like a pneumatic pump to kind of expedite the process. I have one, I guess, but I don't really use it. I like to just do kind of a traditional oil change. So did that. FCP Euros, who I go through for my oil changes, and they always supply, I get the whole kit, so they do the filter, the plug after draining it, put the plug in, full replacement plug and everything with the gasket on it, and went in fine. You know, then I filled the car with oil. I also put on the oil filter, screwed the cap on a little bit, not tight by any means. It was on there, but it wasn't tight. It'd be enough for an oil leak, and I'll get into that. But then I filled the car with oil. I did 6 quarts or just under with Liqui Moly 5W40. It's my favorite oil. It's perhaps not the best for 2019s. Apparently they take like 0W30, and it's like Castrol, and I really like Liqui Moly, and I've never had issues. Well, I guess until yesterday, using the 5W40. I don't think it's an oil thing. I really don't think it has anything to do with the type of oil that I put in the car. I run that oil a lot, keeps my oil temperatures down, and the overall life of the oil, it just looks cleaner when I do my oil changes. Although this time around my oil looked pretty freaking dirty. Filled the car with oil, shut the cap. The oil filter was still not fully, I guess you could say, torque it down. Started the car, looked, oh heavens. I started the car, I came over to the engine just to see, you know, what everything's looking, and I see oil spitting out of the filter, and I'm like, God damn it. So ran over, shut the car off, tightened it. Car was probably running for like 5-10 seconds, not a very long time. It was still within cold start, of course, and then I ran over again just to see, you know, okay, stop pissing oil, because, you know, obviously with the pissing oil, it was starting to steam because oil was just getting in places, little fine, you know, droplets of oil. And then and of course, I just want you guys to know the car was completely flat on the ground. It wasn't, you know, jacked up or anything. It was, you know, all the oil should have had enough time to kind of get where it needs to be. And again, I used all the oil that was pretty much provided, except for a little bit out of that little canister, the 1 quart. But I've been doing it for a while. I've been doing my own services, and perhaps that might change going forward. But anyway, the real meat and potatoes. The second time I went around to go check the car, there was a huge pool of oil. I've never seen that quantity of oil underneath a car, and underneath that car specifically. So huge cause for concern. I shut the car off immediately. It was idling fine. There was no smoke coming out of the exhaust. I didn't have any codes on the dash. I mean, I wasn't really looking. I immediately shut the car off. I know I had an oil, I think it was an oil pressure code, but that might have just been kind of a given. Although I don't think I had any misfires, which typically sometimes that goes a little hand in hand. And when I had my last leak was actually out of the oil cap apparently, and the dipstick housing. So that highlights 2 possibilities with what happened to the Golf R yesterday. So it's either the dipstick housing, because I was checking my oil. That thing is always freaking firm in there, and they don't do at all a good job at like a quick release with the dipstick, and you kind of have to fight it and try to hold the housing because it's all plastic. You know, it's all plastic, and the engine was kind of warm. I was driving it earlier, you know, so pulled that out, you know, just to check the oil, and I didn't feel like anything came out with it, but you know, you never know. When you start the car, especially with that oil pressure, if there's any kind of like, any chance that something will, you know, crack or snap or whatever, probably would have been there with the car on, you know, because it was relatively compromised for perhaps me just pulling it, you know, too hard. That's what happened last time. It was a fortunate thing that I caught, but the other thing that it could be is the fact that the oil filter wasn't tight enough. Obviously, it was spitting oil, and I perhaps ran it long enough where it seized the engine. I don't think that's super probable, especially because the oil was coming from one side. It was the dipstick side, you know. It was the most amount of oil I've seen. I've had this issue before, and it was, you know, only so much. But this was a lot of oil. It's still, you know, I doubt that it blew a hole in the engine from that, and I really truly don't think it's anything that dramatic, and I'm only making this video just to kind of alert you guys. I'm not really that upset about it. It happened, it sucks. If it's a new engine, if it's, you know, it's just a new engine. It's not my favorite thing to do. It's something I don't want to do if I can avoid it, but yeah, so that's kind of what happened. So I'm hoping for the best. I don't really think anything bad happened, but you know, I'm kind of keeping an open mind. But anyway, just cleaned up the garage. It was actually yesterday in the afternoon, and yeah, there's just dirt all over the floor, but I don't have any kitty litter or anything like that. We don't have cats, so this was the best way to kind of attack that oil spill, because it was a pretty hefty oil spill. It's pretty bad. Another thing too, I guess worth mentioning is I just did rear sway bar. Today, or actually yesterday, was going to be my film day after I did the service, and then I was going to go out and kind of film a quick review, because I did my install with Danny on Thursday, I think, of last week. Thing is freaking awesome. I've never thought that was going to be a significant mod until obviously I've done it, and oh my god, that car is so much fun to throw around in corners. So I love it. It's so responsive, and it's just a fantastic car now. It's a great kind of all-arounder. And I'm looking at my stock sway bar, thinking about how much of a process that was to get out, just because of the galvanized bolt in the old end link. So yeah, it was kind of a bummer. I was really excited to put that video up because, again, that was a really sick mod. It made the car freaking baller. So just wanted to kind of keep you guys posted as to kind of what happened with the Golf R. Guys, things happen, you know. This was probably my fault at the end of the day. There's got to be something that I did wrong, and I'll own up to it. Whatever, you know, you live and you learn. But I just wanted to let you guys know there might be a little bit of delay in my next upload. It does kind of make the future a little uncertain to what the Golf R, you know, where things will be with that car when I'm done. I still have to do a couple quick things here and there with that. I want to get that sway bar video out, at least try. And if not, we'll kind of move on to a new platform. So a little somber, but you know, we'll get to it, guys. You know how it goes. Just take it up and kind of look at all the good things, and you really can't get upset. There's a lot of good that kind of outweighs the bad. So I do appreciate you guys for staying tuned, putting up with all this malarkey. Probably should stop working on my own cars, I would say, maybe. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.